So, and I'll walk through on the Clean Connect side, right? So we have these sensors. We're reading the actual meter data right off of SCADA in real time, and we're running it through the promax process simulation. So we're getting that real time mass balance, which gives us that component level non-fugitive measurement as well as the mass balance. And then again, if we have our Minerva system on there with our OGI camera continuous, now we're getting the real time fugitive. But what if we don't have our camera on there? Well, by combining that with the, methane scan from Geo, now we get that at least weekly scan of a site. And now we can marry those two things and do it. And we're talking about doing that just integrated. So we do have for qualified companies, and there's a qualification process, we're actually offering Prove Zero for free. And we roll this all out, and we would include GEOSCAN right in there. Now, why in the world would we do that? We're not offering our cameras for free, but at least the continuous measurement. The reason we're doing is that us and our trading partner Gunvor pretty darn confident that that there's premiums to be had. And so there's a lot of companies who say, man, I'd love to have my site measured. It would help me with my OGMP and my Subpart W reporting. There's other benefits that they can't even imagine, but the clients that have this are able to optimize their production based on empirical data versus trying to use emission factors and, sort of game the system and all that. So having empirical data and that real-time mass balance really points out certain things. And then again, we automatically bookend leaks that are found with the satellite. We're talking about bookending those things. So there's a lot of things that we can do when we just marry these two things. So yeah, we're excited about this combination. Again, we see it just as, again, they're a high producing site. They put our OGI camera and all the legacy sites we've got covered, with the satellite. So kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And like you said, some of those market solutions are something that, I'm really excited to see develop. We've been talking about certified natural gas, empirical energy, and all these kinds of things for a little while, actually. We've had, like you said, you and I first started talking about this a number of years ago. And the idea of, will someone pay a premium for low methane natural gas is a question that the market and the trading community and companies, particularly upstream oil and gas companies, have been trying to answer for a little while. And I think, by having this verification, by having the actual data and the mass balances, as well as then the independent verification from the satellites, I think really starts to build a data set that people trust. It's not just, take my word for it, or, we followed a process, but now we can actually also validate through all the data that, yes, we can show what that means and some of that kind of stuff. And I think as we see, things like the European LNG, regular fossil fuel imports into the EU. Maybe it's not, sometimes in some instances, maybe it's not a premium, but maybe there'll be a penalty associated if you can't verify that you've got low methane. In some circumstances, for things like methanol and data centers and stuff, where there are clean fuel directives and other things where, being able to show your whole supply chain, including your upstream production, has low methane, there's value in that. And I think I'm really excited to see how that market evolves. And I know you guys did a podcast with Gunvor last week as well, or last month, I should say, which sort of talked about some of those pieces as well. And I genuinely, believe that when there is market opportunities, people will behave in a certain way. It means that they can justify spending the money to do the verification and the measurement, and allows for us to, again, all work towards a common goal, which shouldn't be about getting rid of oil and gas. It shouldn't be about, not having the energy we need. It should be about reducing emissions. And if we can all kind of figure out how we do that and work to that central goal, then some of that will move much faster, essentially. So